Welcome back to the channel, guys and girls. And as you can see from the front of the boat, I'm missing a trolling motor. So I have already ripped off the old trolling motor, which was just mounted to this basically piece of wood up here. There was a previous one up here, and then the last guy installed a 45-pound Minn Kota trolling motor, which my last boat, the one I had in Vermont, my bass tracker, had an already upgraded trolling motor, which was the Minn Kota Terrova with the foot pedal, and it was a 55 foot-pound. And because of COVID and because of shipping challenges, like everything is out of stock completely. And I didn't have salt water in Vermont, so what I'm doing to this boat is I'm setting up for salt water and fresh water. Now, what Minn Kota doesn't like openly say, unless you look to like deep and dive into their settings, basically on their website, is if you use one of their motors in salt water that's not the Riptide series, it voids the warranty. So of course now I got to go to the Riptide series. So I bought a Riptide series. I bought the only thing that Bass Pro Shop had in stock. I looked online, looked everywhere, but let me go show you guys that. And I like the Terrova for a bunch of different reasons. One, it's easy to deploy. Two, it's got spot lock, which is the coolest thing since sliced bread coolest thing since like fish finders in the industry, right? It can hold you on the spot whenever you want. And it has foot control, which the power drive does not. And it has a remote control, Bluetooth, and a bunch of other stuff. So let me show you what I got into the garage. So we got the Riptide Minn Kota Terrova, Minn Kota Terrova bow mount trolling motor, iPilot integrated system pre-installed. I don't know what the phone and stuff does yet. I have no idea. Their website is kind of garbage. I bought the Terrova, the RT Terrova 80 IP 60-inch with Bluetooth, 24-volt 60-inch shaft, which is way overkill for my boat, but that's the only thing they had in stock. This is like $1,900. It's going to be overpowered, but in my mindset, go big or go home. Now, I've already looked at the installation manual for this online before I even opened the box. I did not buy an extended warranty, which hopefully you guys won't see me regret that, but it's got a 2-year manufacturing warranty on like normal stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox this. So this is going to be unboxing and installation. So I already ripped out the other one, which is just 4 bolts, and then it plugs into the boat with like a general connector that's used in this trolling motor industry. So, and I don't have the foot pedal for this, so I'm going to spend a lot of money on this. I'm going to wait and buy the foot pedal later when my wife has calmed down a little bit more. So let's get this unboxed and get going with it. So I know my garage is absolutely still a mess. I got lights that don't work. Like I said, I just moved in last year, so excuse the mess. But I'm going to try to open this box up, get this thing out of here. We got some big staples that we got to clip. And one end is super heavy, and the other end is not. And I forget which, that end's the heavy end. Problem is I can't get a hold of this stupid thing. Oh, there's some parts. So I'm guessing this is the control head side. Weedless wedge 2. So it's got the little trailing edges, and then that little trailing edge is supposed to make it weedless. Lots of screws and accessories. Ooh, and a Minn Kota sticker. That adds like 55 foot-pounds. So this is 80 pounds, 2 12-volt batteries. So it's a 24-volt. So I have to find another spot in my boat to put another battery. I have the spot. It's just going to take up a lot of my other real estate for tackle, which pick and choose with a small boat, really. And I got the Bluetooth module, which I'm guessing that's what it is. Oh, it's in a box inside of another box. How convenient. I don't know if I have enough room in my garage for this. Hindsight, I probably should have just cut the box open. All right, so there's that. Get that out of there. And that's the extremely heavy end. Like extremely heavy end. So like I said, it did say in the manual to open this up first before you install it, because you got to take off some things. That is an absolute beast. So it's like, hey, let me show you guys up close. So let me show you guys. So this has got like triple anodized crazy coating on it. So you can see that like it's textured. So they triple powder coat it or something. Also has an anode on the end here to prevent corrosion from the stainless steel in the shaft. Then it's got the little module here. And it's got this little foot pedal thing, which is awesome. And this is the cord to foot pedal steer it. And like I said, it's also got the Bluetooth module, which I've never even heard about or used before, but it came with it. We also got some more, oh, that's the remote, which I'm gonna open up right now because that's the coolest thing. And then it's got this very short power cord with just 2 little cable ends on it, which are meant to attach to a breaker first, which I do not have. But we're gonna be running that big battery over there, that big battery right there, and another one that's already in the boat, which I have to also install. So I think first steps is I gotta take off these screws and I'll open up the manual. That Minn Kota sticker is gonna look awfully nice on my boat. This is gonna be so key for a striper, like seeing a school of stripers or crappie or whatever, hitting spot lock or trolling for pretty much any species under that like 3 miles an hour. So for walleye, my plan this weekend is to troll for lake trout and salmon again without using the gas motor. So the gas motor does work, it just trolls super fast and I didn't want to buy a trolling plate for it and I wanted this anyways. Here's all the parts breakdown. So we got to remove the side plates with a number 3 Phillips head, which I have. And if you guys don't know what a number 3 Phillips is, it's that right there. It's just slightly bigger than a number 2. So number 3, remove the side covers. So we got that one off, and then the other one, I think just, that's the right cover. The other one just pivots out of the way. And then we got to figure out how to mount it on the boat, which it needs to go towards the keel. It needs to go in the center of the bow as much as possible, so that motor pulls the boat straight forward. But the problem with my boat is it has like a little metal cowling on the front, which I don't think it'd be smart to take off, so I might have to like block the motor up. It does come with some rubber spacers. So let me cut off the other additions on here, like the remote. And my boat's only like maybe 1,200 pounds. This is an overkill motor. So this button is what I paid $1,800 for right here. Spot lock and go-to, well, mainly spot lock. And I can hang this off my side with the carabiner like I did my last boat. With the Hummingbird, I can steer, I can do everything, and then eventually I'll buy the $200 foot control that can control the motor. So I have both hands free, but I'm gonna wait a week or so and buy that. So like I said, it needs to go as close to the keel line as possible. You guys can see that. If not, I'll leave the manual link for this below because it's kind of a pain in the butt to find. But like I said, this is the Riptide Terrova. You mark at least 4 of the 6 holes in the base screws and have a minimum of 2 bolts on each side that are located as farthest apart. Ideally allow all 6 bolts drill through the deck with a 9/32 drill. 1 right there, 1 right there, and 1 right there. And so that's aluminum extrusion, and then get all the latches and stuff in there, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, this thing is a heavy son of a gun, and I need to lift it up there and mark that out. So that's the trolling motor placed up there. And now we have to drill holes to make it work. It has to be about 1.5 inches away to be deployed. So the last guy put his like right there. And the problem with the super long shaft here, no pun intended, is it's going to hang off a substantial amount. But I will never, one of my problems with boats with a short size shaft length is I'm not heavy enough to weigh the front of the boat down when waves come. So the trolling motor pops out and gets all confused and all twisted and stuff, and not that much fun. I dealt with a lot on Champlain, and the ocean's going to be probably no different. So I kind of want to do this deployed, but they actually, it seems like this is some sort of retractor to make the engine go, the motor go back up easier, like a, yeah. So this has got a metal core. So this is basically like a tape measure spring in there that helps pull the motor up, because it is going to be heavy. All right, we're back on day 2. We kind of figured out where it needs to go, and we're gonna slide it over, deploy it, make sure it's good, mark the carpet with a black marker, pull it off, and then drill the holes. So I can't drill through this plate here, so that comes over here, gets swung out of the way. This comes over here. And I also want to clear the light post that goes right there for those early mornings. And I want to hit that deploy button. And we want 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit more. So I can only use 4 out of the 6 holes, but that, in the manual they said that's okay. Not ideal, but okay. A little less than ideal, just because we'd really want it just literally straight off the bow here, but I don't want to remove that plate. Looks very structural. And all the other ones I've been on other boats, and they're always just hanging off, just off the side. So the more in the middle they are, the straighter they pull based on the keel of the boat. So let's go get the drill some holes. So I'm just putting the screws in. So rubber washers first, screws go through that. Just trying to line everything up here. You don't necessarily give you a bunch of room for this one, but there we go, everything's in. Then we need to get big old stainless steel washer on and a nylock nut. All right, let's put these side covers back on. Get that all organized. There we go. There's one side. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side with the piece that I left over there. Back and forth, back and forth. And all it says is to discard a couple of things on the end here. So, and I did not know that these heavier trolling motors come with like a retractor, which is kind of cool. So this has a little instructions right on it. And I don't know if this is reverse thread or not, but they give you a spot for a screwdriver to hold the shaft still. It is not reverse thread. And then we want to discard red washer, which is this one right here. Discard that and discard this cap, and all that cap does is hold that, basically your shear pin or your drive pin in place. And then put that bad boy on there, washer, the nut that I probably need a ratchet for, actually, or an open-ended wrench, we'll see. Problem is I need to hold the shaft in order to do that, so I think
We can just do that. When I remember, it's only to loosen it that you have the issue. And if I was you, betting man or losing man, braid gets caught in this stuff all the time, or a fly line or whatever. Bring one of these wrenches with you and then a flathead screwdriver so you can take this off not over water, or in shallow water at least. There we go. We got a prop on, guys. So we have power cord that I'm going to straighten out as much as possible. And they give you two little pigtails that are kind of useless unless you have really small battery terminals. They just do that to help you with the ends there. And so I have a plug in the front there that hopefully you guys can see. I have a plug right there that I'm going to match up with the old one. So we need to connect this, the factory from the Minn Kota, to this adapter that plugs basically into my boat, into another connector, and then into the battery terminal, which is not very far away, so I don't have to up the gauge. But if you want to look at the chart for, like, a lot of bass boat batteries are stored in the back of the boat, just because there's more storage back there. You need to look at that gauge chart to make sure you're using the right gauge for the job that you're doing and the distance that you're traveling. So the further you are away with DC voltage, the more up in gauge you need to go, or the up in voltage you need to go. So we're doing 24 volt, very close. I don't need to worry about any of that. So I bought these, don't know if they're the right thing, but they're close enough. Gardner Bender splice kit from 8 to 14 gauge. And they give you, and you can look right on the wire, if I can find it. This is 10 gauge, so we're right in the middle there, and I know we're right in the middle of the otherwise. So my biggest fear is cutting the cable too short, which we don't want to do, but we don't want it hanging all over the boat either. So I can always make it shorter after it works. So I'm just going to cut a couple inches off here. Like I said, these are underground kits, and I'll show you kind of up close. So they have these little, basically, ferrules here with screws that you tighten down. Hopefully my screwdriver fits. I'm going to loosen those all the way up. Loosen up both sides. Hope you guys can see that. And don't forget to slide your heat shrink on the connector. Just don't do it. Make sure you do it. So for that, we're going to open that up a little bit more. Slide the heat shrink on. And so that's going to take a heat gun or a blow torch, and that's going to melt this basically seal all around this connector. But I'm not going to do that until the motor's up and running and I know it works, and then I'll do it. But I'll slide it over with some electrical tape so they don't short circuit each other. All right, we're getting there, guys. So now we need to uninstall part of the battery, put a jumper cable on, and install another battery. All right, so I did a bunch of wiring off camera, and I knew it was going to be painful, so I didn't want to watch you guys film all that. Boat's still a mess. So let me show you guys what I did in here. And so I've basically eliminated a lot of my storage space, but until, I think what I want to do is I'm going to build like an extended casting platform slash battery box here, and then that way it can be just straight storage for tackle in there. So I have the negative coming from the trolling motor coming all the way to here. I have a jumper wire basically going from positive to negative over here. I have the positive going from the trolling motor back to the trolling motor. So I have 24 volts. So the batteries are in series, and these are the Alpha Cell Premium 220 GXL batteries that came with the boat previously. Shut that. Then I got my standard connector, which is right here, and at some point I will actually buy the circuit breaker, which is definitely a specialty item, which I cannot find. But let's plug this in. we go, it's all the way in, and these are underwater grade, heat shrinkable, so they actually have like a little, hopefully you guys can, there's like a little bit of bleed out there. That's the glue that's inside this heat shrink, so it's like completely waterproof. And so here's the moment of truth here. Step on the pedal, deploy the engine. I got it short right now. Snaps into place, power on. So I got the trolling motor down, and I can jog left, jog right. Obviously be facing backwards, but I can't just because of the trailer's in the way. And I can turn it on, and I can turn it on full speed. There we go, guys, it works. It works. And all I have to do is sync this to that, and I did that by pushing the little button on top there. All right, and then to close it up, all you gotta do is do this, and then I'm doing all of this with 2 fingers. No cable pull, no nothing. All you do is pull back, snap it, and this little thing helps you do all of that. And then it automatically doesn't turn itself off, but hit the power button, no power draw there, and then when I get the foot pedal, it can plug into there. So the next step is finding a place for the little hockey puck thing. I have one more module that I did unbox, and I'm not really sure what it is, but it's different than the last one I had. So I guess it's a heading sensor assembly, boat heading information to the Bluetooth compatible iPilot or iPilot link. Minn Kota. It contains a compass that senses the boat's heading. The heading is used by the spot lock jog. The sensor head does not contain a GPS receiver. It does not change or control the orientation of the boat. Oh, it's only meant to communicate with other Bluetooth products. So my Hummingbird Helix is a Bluetooth product, which should be really, really cool if they actually communicate. So this is just a little, and it needs 12 volts to run, which I can run it into the boat somehow. And that's got to sit on something somewhere. I'm not really sure where. Ooh, it needs to sit in line with the boat. So we will figure out a place for that at some point. I didn't even know what this did until a minute ago. And hopefully my GPS is up to date enough. My Hummingbird is up to date enough to do this, because we could follow like contour lines, I think. I'm not even sure. So it's getting dark out, so we're gonna take this back up and finish this tomorrow. Let's say goodbye for right now. So as I'm looking for the manual for the head sensor assembly, you can't be next to anything magnetic or anything that's going to disturb it. So it can't be tied into the same circuit as that, because it basically is a giant magnet motor. And it can't be tied into, I don't have any power on this side of the boat, so I'm going to have to make a spot, I think, right here for it, because all of that is going to be active seating, and this is going to be the live well. So I think the best spot for it is going to be like right here. I'm going to drill a hole, run the wire down through. Hopefully I have enough wire to run down over to here. I do have direct terminals to the battery, which means it'll always be on, or I can run it over to my accessory panel and run it to accessories. But I'm not going to show you guys all that, but basically all you need to do is run positive to positive, negative to negative, red to red, black to black. And then there's a pairing, just like the old GPSs were in your phone, where you have to like spin it around in a figure 8. It actually does say to do that with your boat, like do a circle with your boat to sync everything. Can't do that now, can't do that till I go out this weekend. So I think this would allow me to communicate my Hummingbird Helix with the trolling motor and give me better accuracy based on position. So that'll be really cool to link those two up. And give me better spot lock and be able to let me jog spot lock. So if I'm on a location, I can hop up 10 feet and it'll go just right there without changing crazy things or without taking spot lock off, basically. So that's cool. I'm gonna leave all the links for all the stuff that I use below. I found some new products to do this kind of work, which is kind of cool. Makes it a lot easier on the solder or anything like that. They're a little more expensive, but they were a lot easier to use. Just a screwdriver and a blowtorch to basically make those waterproof connections. And I'll leave the link for the Minn Kota and the manual below, if I can find it, the generic one. And I'll
you know, do a review video in probably a year or so, or maybe the end of the season for this. So hope you guys liked the video, and make sure you leave any comments or questions below.